Hello students, today I am going to tell you about the Augustan age. This age is very important in the history of English literature. Dear students, the 18th century in English literature is generally known as the Augustan age. This is also called as the classical or neoclassical age in English literature. This age comes after the Restoration age, which is also called as the age of John Dryden, and before the Romantic era. If we divide the 18th century into two parts, the first part is the age of Pope, which started in the year 1700 and lasted in the year 1745. Whereas the second part is called as the age of Johnson. This age started in 1745 and lasted in 1798. That is before the Romantic period. Dear students, the 18th century is called as the indispensable one. This is called as the Augustan age. This is also called as the classical age. So now let us see why this age is called as the Augustan age. Students, the 18th century was the golden age in the history of English literature, just as the age of Emperor Augustus was the golden age in Latin literature in the Roman Empire. That's why this age is also called as the Augustan age. Whereas it is also called as the classical or neoclassical age. What's the reason behind it? Students, in actual, the term classical refers to ancient Latin literature which flourished in the Roman Empire. The English poets and critics of the early 18th century used to copy the Latin poets and critics of the classical time, and therefore considered themselves to be the followers of the best models. Hence, they were called as neoclassicists. These neoclassicists, like their literary ideals, had little faith in the inspiration and talent of individual genius. They had absolute faith in the laws and rules as prescribed and practiced by the ancients. Now students, let us see the main characteristics of the neoclassical literature. When you go through the literature of this era, you'll find there is predominance of logic and reason. There is lack of passion and emotion, as one finds in the literature of the Romantic era. There is the depiction of town life filled with profligacy and corruption. One finds efforts for moral regeneration and control of passion in the literature of this era. Nature was not a proper subject for their poetry. Supremacy of reason, logic, and good sense can be seen there. In place of a spontaneity and simplicity, one could find a dominating eccentricity for intelligence, wit, fancy, elegance, and correctness. The poetry of that era is satirical and didactic, and its language is totally stilted, artificial, and mannered. The poetry of this age was the product of intelligence, playing upon the surface of life, lacking in emotion and imagination. It was almost entirely composed in the closed heroic couplet in place of the blank verse. Dear students, you must know that the poets of the Elizabethan age used to write in the blank verse. But the Augustan poets, they wrote in the closed heroic couplet. The steady change in social, political, and religious values was well reflected in the literature of this era. With the passage of time, however, in the age of Johnson, there started a reaction against the complacency, the sterility, the slavishness, and suppression of the genius in the age of Pope. Slowly and gradually, human emotions were given more importance that made a background for the arrival of the Romantic period. The growth of democracy favored the notions of liberty, equality, and the rights of man. So, dear students, I think this video would be extremely helpful for you in understanding the Augustan age. Thanks a lot to all of you. Thank you.